Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Curious Owlbear, back with another set of random encounter ideas that don't suck. Today, the adventuring party is back in the dusty desert searching for long-lost loot. Let's see what they'll run into. The adventurers set out on their quest, with the first step being to cross a massive, deadly desert. They wind across sand dunes and over cracked earth until the soft, dry wind of the desert begins to pick up. It gusts in small circles close to the party. Slowly, the gusts begin to merge and move off in a particular direction. If the group chooses not to follow these semi-sentient winds, then they return to the group to make another attempt at coaxing them to the location of their choosing. This type of encounter works very well for party members who are dedicated to a particular deity. Their deity is attempting to get them to explore a particular location or perform a specific task. It can also work for any areas of your world where creatures may have died violently, that their spirits have lived on since their bodies were not laid to rest. Sure enough, the winds drive the group to the edge of an ancient battlefield. A few tattered banners, broken spears, and rusted armor still persist in this area, though much of the battlefield has been buried in sand. As the DM, this may be a good opportunity to give your players a little background about the people of the desert, how they fight, their ancestors, or ancient feuds. There may also be a few skeletons, revenants, or other undead creatures still remaining on the battlefield. One evening, while the group is resting, a storm rolls overhead. Rain begins to pour in a deluge, and lightning strikes across the desert. It's a rather violent storm, but it passes quickly. In the aftermath, the group surveys the horizon and notes that lightning has struck several areas that are littered with dry brush. This has caused a wildfire to erupt around the desert, with the wind carrying embers to far-off shrubbery. This type of encounter offers you the chance to show some unique wildlife in the area, in a more overt manner than nature normally allows. The storm and subsequent fire usher the group toward the nearest structure, a small building composed of adobe brick. A few humans move in and out of the structure as the group approaches, but they seem welcoming as they beckon the party over. The humans greet the party with the blessings of the sun god and invite them to take shelter within their chapel. Inside is a cozy shrine with various depictions of the sun, hourglasses, and other symbols of Pelor. This group of dedicated worshippers have found a remote and relatively safe place to conduct their rituals honoring the sun god. Underneath the chapel, and unbeknownst to the group, is another potential encounter. The worshippers here are not real fighters, and in the case that they are attacked or threatened, they may need to escape. As such, a powerful sorcerer of Pelor took it upon themselves to place a permanent teleportation circle in the locked cellar of this chapel. Few of the humans will know the command word to activate the rune, and fewer will trust the group with such information. If the group is somehow able to win the praise of these worshippers of Pelor, then they may have a good waypoint for future journeys. The next day, the adventurers continue through the desert. At about midday, a keen eye in the group spots some other travelers cresting a nearby sand dune. It's a group of about 4 Goliaths, their skin baked by the sun and covered in tribal tattoos. They are obviously on a long hunt. Their packs are laden with food and water for the journey, as well as a few visible hunting traps. These tribal Goliaths don't speak common, and they're not very welcoming to outsiders, so the group will need to have a good reason to try to communicate with these locals. Later in their travels, the adventuring party comes across the entrance to an underground mine. There are signs of recent habitation, a campfire recently put out, and a few small pieces of rope that might be used for tents. However, there are other signs. Broken arrowheads and spears betray the presence of goblins in the area. If the group decides to investigate, they may be able to figure out that this is an old silver mine. Much of the valuable ore has been extracted from the areas of the mine closest to the surface, but if the group continues downwards, they will find some deeper deposits of silver ore. Mining is a slow process, of course, so it will take the group a significant amount of time to collect the ore from this deposit. The job will also be quite noisy, so it's almost certain that enemies will investigate before the group is finished. The adventurers pick away at the silver ore vein as noises from their toils echo down the mine shaft. Every few minutes, some of the group members get the feeling that they're being watched, and reflective retinas are occasionally visible on the edge of the torchlight that the party uses. Eventually, and all of a sudden, a pack of goblins attack from all sides. They use crude bows and rocks to pin down the adventuring party, while their melee companions close in. Goblins are a lower-level creature, but they are extremely crafty. They'll wait to pick the best moment for them to engage their foes, and they'll retreat to greater numbers if the group proves to be too much for them. That being said, they are ferocious foes that should not be taken lightly. Still later in their travels, the group wanders close to a small village. They decide to rest at the small inn to get a roof over their heads for the first time in weeks. During the night, a keen ear in the group hears some unusual noises from just outside of the village. Investigating, they find a small group of grave robbers who are busy digging in the graveyard on the village outskirts. If there are any clerics in your party, this will be a great moment to challenge their morals, though some deities might support the idea of a grave robber. Whatever the case, these grave robbers won't welcome anyone investigating their operation, and will try to kill anyone who threatens to stop them. I recommend using an updated set of bandit stats for these foes. Perhaps here in the graveyard, or perhaps when the adventurers pass another site where a large number of violent deaths took place, the group will be relentlessly assaulted by a band of Dybbuk. These fiendish demons parasitically control the corpses of mortals. Dybbuk are extremely chaotic and evil as they pursue better, or less rotten, mortal corpses. They're known to partake in the vices of mortal races, but their primary goal is to kill and control a better corpse. Oftentimes, this decision comes down to the corpse's connections to society, their attractiveness, or simply their state of decomposition. Those who are familiar with Dybbuk may be able to recognize small tendrils around the victim, but these demons are experts in impersonation and are not easily detected. The adventurers will need to act quickly to keep these creatures off of them, and to ensure that they avoid being possessed. And that brings us to the end of today's Desert Encounters. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to smash that subscribe button. You can join our Discord server at the link in the description of this video to discuss everything 5th edition. Until next time, be well, be excellent to one another, and stay curious, adventurers.